Sometimes, as believers, or even if you're a non believer, when you're addicted, you think that if you can just stop watching porn, then you'll become a non user. And typically, this is probably the first big mistake I see people make is this belief that there's an endurance model that's required to quit porn. And the endurance model belief is if I stop watching porn long enough, eventually the desire will disappear. So people will leverage things like streak counters, app blockers, deleting social media, whatever it takes to help make it through that period of not watching, with the hope that perhaps the morning you wake up, that next day is the day where you finally stop watching. And I say all that because there's a couple things I see here that I want to address. And I think I'll let the Spirit of the Lord take me in the direction that's the most appropriate to really hone in on. But rather than go through this line by line like I typically like to do, I'm going to do, I guess, topical instead of exposition, if you would. Because the first thing that caught my mind was the length of things that you had tried to stop, right? And then when I say length, just the word count here is typically this is the thing that people answer the least, and it's usually why do they want to quit porn? So I couldn't help but read this a couple times, and I'm going to just connect the dots in a way that makes the most sense for me. Because when I see what have you already tried to stop, I find it so interesting that you say consistency is what you've been unsuccessfully chasing. Consistency in prayer, working out, minimizing screen time. What we're really seeing here is someone that's like, hey, I need more discipline. And I define discipline as the ability to do the things which you don't want to do, and you can imagine that can be confusing because if prayer is something that you don't want to do, then yeah, you need more discipline. If working out is something you don't want to do, then yeah, you need more discipline. But if these are things that you do want to do, then discipline is not what you need. What you need is simply just to reevaluate your beliefs about these things and your mindset about them. So the first thing that I saw here that really caught my attention, oh, here it is. So if I'm reading this correctly, it looks like there's a belief that there is a very specific day quota, I guess, that you need to hit. And you say it right here. I know when I hit 60, I'm never looking back. So there's this belief here that the endurance model is ultimately going to be the most effective way for you to stop watching porn. And through the endurance model, I think you set the goal at 60 days. And the belief is that, hey, by 60 days, I should have kicked this habit. But the problem with that is you don't have a habit, you have an addiction. And the way addictions are broken is not necessarily through creating systems that manage your habits. The way addictions are broken is by breaking the illusion about what the addiction is doing for you. So, my genuine concern with thinking that when you get to 60 days, you'll stop, that may be true. You may stop after day 60, but you'll always miss it. There's always going to be that itch in the back of your brain that you just wish you could scratch. And you'll find weird ways to scratch it. You might find yourself looking at soft core and saying that doesn't really count. You might find yourself staring too long at that stranger on the street. That doesn't really count. You might find yourself fantasizing in your head because it's not real. That doesn't really count. And the identity of a non user is what we're really after. And the identity of a non user is not something that happens within a defined period of time, such as 60 days. The identity of a non user is something that happens pretty much overnight once you get the right set of beliefs in place. So, my concern going back to the stuff that I've highlighted in yellow is as soon as I see someone saying, because I've been there, I need to hit 25 days and then I hit 40 days. And it's like 40 days, I just got to make it to 60. But what happens when you go back to when day 41 is too hard and then you slide all the way back down to the bottom of that black hole, right? Like, think about how exhausting it must feel trying to climb yourself out of this pit only to relapse and then be like, I'm already down in the depths of my despair. I'm just going to stay here for a little bit until I can generate the energy to want to climb back up out of it again. And when I go back to what you said earlier, or your first thing you said about the time of the day that you relapse, this is something that I was like, oh, I know exactly what is going on here. Because when you say I have that peep mentality in areas I know I shouldn't have any business in, I can almost put the pattern together. And there's one more thing here I'm going to use to connect the dots. It's my relapse are 5 days a week. I can't go. Okay, perfect. I'm going to show you how this works. So it sounds like what's happening is maybe every week you're using, if I'm reading this correctly, relapse for 5 days. Let's just assume a week, right? You're watching once a week. And in your mind, you're like, I just need to get to day 25. But fundamentally, nothing has really changed between who you are from that first week to then entering into that second week. And so you relapse for whatever reason. And you know what's interesting here is we're seeing that boredom, fatigue, right? And these are things that are not, let me not get off topic. I wouldn't consider these causes, but these are things that certainly trigger the reflex of reaching for porn, in your case, indirectly through, I guess, social media. But so a week goes by, right? And you don't watch porn. And then all of a sudden, maybe you're on day 8, day 9, and you start to feel that monkey on your back that's asking to be released. And so it almost seems like you're justifying relapsing to yourself by starting on social media. And how there's that little millisecond when you scroll on social media between the video that you're watching and the next video you're watching. And in that millisecond, you know what? There's anticipation because there's that hope that maybe that next video is going to be the one that pushes me over the edge, greases the hole that I'm in, and helps justify me to relapse, right? So if I just keep scrolling long enough, eventually I'll find a thirst trap or something that resembles a thirst trap or just a way for me to go from where I'm at now to watching porn. And my concern is that even when you hit day 60, you'll never truly know what it feels like to be to be on social media and just not feel the desire to watch porn, right? You'll never know what it's like to be scrolling and just be like, a thirst trap can come or a thirst trap can't come. It's not going to change my behavior. I'm not going to look at it because people that don't watch porn, they don't use thirst traps to justify relapsing, but you do. So it doesn't matter if you make it past day 60, as long as you don't understand why you keep relapsing, you're always going to be one bad day, one trigger away, one TV show or movie with unexpected nudity away. It seems to me that the big thing here is this peep mentality. Because what this peep mentality tells me is you haven't fully divorced porn. I think you've broken up with it, but you're still texting her, if that makes sense. Get out of my house, but hit me back on the late and we'll see how I feel about you. That's kind of what I'm getting here because basically what I'm seeing is you already quit, right? As soon as you stop, like, it's not stopping porn that's hard. The hard part to understand is why people restart porn after they've stopped it because in theory you stop every single time you finish, right? Think about it. It's not like you finish and then you keep watching because you like the script. So you stop every time you finish. But then the hard part is figuring out, well, now that I've stopped, why am I going to restart again? And the reason why you restart is because there's a part of you that still doesn't, it seems to me, may not believe that life after porn is pleasurable or life after porn is better. Life after porn is more beneficial. It said the inverse of that would be that life with porn provides something that life without porn will not provide. And there's a fear of losing whatever that benefit is. That benefit could be relief from boredom. That benefit could be relief from fatigue. Oh, this is so, I don't even know how I missed this, right? And I don't know if your fatigue here means fatigue from failing over and over and over again at porn or failing in life in general. But again, it's kind of this belief that if I stop using porn, then I don't know what boredom's just going to feel too heavy. If I stop using porn and I'm failing outside of life, then I don't really know if my life is going to get better. You know what I mean? Frustration, anxiety. What am I going to do with all these things? When I watch porn, my mind goes blank and at least I have pleasure just for a little bit and I tune out. And now you're telling me I have to deal with all of those things and kick my addiction to the curb. That sounds like a terrible life. And even if we don't say it out loud, sometimes it's how we feel. That's the mindset of someone who's a user. It doesn't matter how many days you go without using porn. The litmus test that you are a non user is that you have collapsed the desire. The litmus test that you are not a user is you have come to a place where you decide, I am done watching porn because there are no benefits that I'm going to miss from not using porn. That's the litmus test. If you threw your javelin in the sand and said, tomorrow is my quit date, if you don't feel like you're getting released from a prison where you've been wrongfully incarcerated, it means that you're not ready to quit. And I know that sounds so difficult to hear, but it should also be good news because if you truly are tired from failing over and over and over and over again, then stop doing the same damn thing. You know what I mean? Stop trying to Pray is stop trying to pray. I should say that differently. These are all great things, right? Prayer, working out, less screen time. Like, these are all great things. The only problem is like with that is sometimes when your willpower is just low, you're just like, F it. I don't want to do none of that. That's just the truth. Especially if you're talking evenings and at night and you've had a long day and it's 11 o'clock at night and you're just lying in bed and you're like, I know I should pray, but honestly, I don't want to. Respectfully speaking, that is a very human thing to feel. Prayer is a discipline. It is a muscle that you have to exercise. So is working out. So is minimizing screen time. These are muscles you have to work out. And if you are not the type of person that believes that not using, if you're the type of person that believes using porn is beneficial, then in those moments when you don't want to do those things, you will use porn. But if you're the type of person that does not believe that porn is beneficial, even if you don't want to do those things that you should, you're still not going to watch porn because you understand that this isn't going to benefit me. And you have to understand that if I were to sit here and ask you, what are the ways that porn hurts you? You could probably write a list of a million different things. But if I asked you, what are the ways that porn helps you? That is the secret. That's the key. You start there. You don't start with all the things. I mean, I should probably change this question. Instead of saying, why do you want to quit porn? I should say, what's the benefit that you believe porn provides you? Because if you understand what those benefits are, those are the reasons why you keep going back to porn. Maybe you feel like porn offers you the benefit of pleasure. Maybe you believe that we can probably take the opposite of these things. Porn offers you the entertainment. Porn offers you I don't think it offers you. I don't think anyone says you can argue porn. Some people believe that porn offers them energy, right? Because it gives you that jolt of anticipation a little bit, frustration, joy. I guess porn offers you. I don't know what the opposite of anxiety is. A state of peace, right? But that's what I would do if I was you. I would actually start by asking myself, what are the things that I believe porn provides me? And when you get there, that is the starting point to getting free from porn. Because what you then have to realize is those are the things that you tell yourself to justify watching porn because you are almost there. You are already going a week without using. The problem is when you choose to watch porn, you choose because you miss those benefits. And that, my friend, is the key for you. Start with figuring out what those benefits are, and you are already halfway there, at least 10 times further than you are right now. I hope that helps.